Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. On today's episode, I want to talk about a conversation I had with one of our longtime listeners, Australian Blastoise, a few days ago. And we had the conversation about whether or not sealed modern product is in fact investable in the long term. And I'm under the impression in the school of thought that given enough time, that 5 to 10 year timeline, sealed modern product will be investable and you will see some sort of return on your investment, especially when that product goes out of print, whenever that may be. Now, Australian Blastoise comes from the school of thought that due to modern being so heavily printed more than we've ever really seen in the history of this hobby, and coupled with the fact that so many people are sitting on modern product and they're really hoarding it, we could see the prices flatline or potentially even drop in the long term. So my big argument to that was, if you can pick up sealed modern product at MSRP, you don't have a ton of downside. And we were really focusing on like sealed booster boxes. And what I was trying to say was, listen, if you can pick up sealed booster boxes at release at MSRP, you can still do well in the long term. But what I mean by MSRP is that $90 to $100 mark. And yes, some people out there will say, no, the MSRP for booster boxes is $144. Listen, booster boxes do not have MSRP. It is the only product like in the English lineup of sealed product that in fact really does not have an MSRP. And the reason why is because booster boxes, the way that they are inherently made, are not made for individual resale. They're made to be cracked open at hobby stores and sold by the pack individually. So to have that argument that there is a suggested retail price for booster boxes at MSRP at $144, and yeah, a lot of people will quote like Pokemon Center and how much booster boxes cost on Pokemon Center. Listen, those listings are so outdated to begin with. The MSRP for booster boxes is not that high. So what I'm really talking about is that $90 to $100 mark. And the reason why I think that dollar amount is so important is because even if you do see a retrace in the very near future, you're not going to see like absolutely huge percentage losses. Huge percentage losses like 30%. So if you can pick up a booster box at say $100 and you do see a retrace of 30%, yeah, it's going to put you at $70 and that's going to kind of suck. And maybe it's going to take you a little bit of time to recoup that money just to get back to your initial investment. But my entire argument for that is, listen, if you are in booster boxes and it retraces to $70 and you're into that booster box for $90 or $100, listen, that shouldn't be a make or break for you. It should not be 100% of your portfolio in the Pokemon hobby. And it's just the truth. Yeah. Do we want products to go up in the long term? Yes. But if you're so stretched out that a very super modern booster box drops 30% on you and it breaks your bank, listen, you should not be in that product. And honestly, I'm not talking about Australian Blastoise. All I'm talking about is the conversation we had and my argument to why I think it's investable. So the thought process is the strong one, that you have to pick up that product at a low price. And that's the point of this video, is really I want to talk again about the scary things that I'm continuing to see happen in this hobby. And what I'm continuing to see is people pay exorbitant amounts of money for products at pre-release. Listen, in the past, the way you can get product early was to pick it up pre-orders at a very low price. That has really gone the way of the dodo at this point in the hobby. The last product that I was able to pick up at or below MSRP was my Battle Style pre-order that I got for $92.50. And then I got my other Battle Styles booster box for $95. Those were the last sets that I think we're really going to see low pre-order prices. But That's not really the purpose of this video. What I'm trying to say is what I'm seeing people pay is ridiculous. Like, I'm seeing people buy booster boxes at pre-order price of like over $130, over $135. I've even seen a couple pre-orders as high as $140, and yeah, that's probably on the extreme high end, and those are pretty rare, but they exist. And more importantly, not only do they exist, people are buying. Can you imagine buying a modern pre-release at $140 for a booster box? Guys, that is scary, and all you are doing is shooting yourself in the foot, especially, and this is that very key, especially if your plan is to keep that booster box sealed as an investment, you are going to be hurting yourself in the long term. Because you know why? All these modern booster boxes, they are all going to have the same exact trajectory. They're going to do exactly what Battle Styles did. They're going to be very high at release. They're going to slowly drop in price, and they're going to settle between that $90 to $100 mark. We're already starting to see Chillin' Reigns get very close to that $100 mark. I think I'm seeing some booster boxes for the second wave floating right around 109. But these are for the second wave pre-release prices at 109. So after that second wave hits, we're probably going to see booster boxes at that $100 mark. And then when that Chillin' Reign third wave comes months down the line, then that's when we're going to really start to see that booster box level out at that $90 mark. And the same thing's going to happen with Evolving Skies. And yes, trust me, I understand Evolving Skies is a crazy set, tons of hype, but listen, if Pokemon prints enough, which they're going to, eventually the market will just have so much product out there that it will no longer be able to absorb it. So if people are just picking this stuff up, especially to keep it sealed, to pick up at these exorbitant prices, and I'll tell you right now, the people charging these prices, you have to be very, very careful, because they do not have your best interest in mind. They only have their best interest in mind. And to hurt yourself at these crazy high dollar amounts, again, let's just say you pick up a booster box at like that $135 high-end price. If it retraces to $100, you've already lost $35. If it does retrace to $90, which I think is very likely it will happen, you're already at a $45 loss for that booster box. You now have to wait even that much longer to recoup your gain until years down the line, or a year or two, or whenever you think it might creep back up to that $135 mark. Guys, it is just very dangerous what I'm seeing. And what I thought was going to happen, which I have been very wrong. I thought that the market was going to finally grow to the point where people were no longer going to pay crazy amounts for product. And don't get me wrong, I understand that FOMO, or that super high excitement where you just want a product at release. And if you're very well understanding of what you're doing, that you're paying a huge absorbent price at release in order to get this product to open it, that's your call, and I'm okay with that. But what I'm saying is, the conversation I had with Australian Blastoise is why I think it's investable and collectible, is that in the long term, I think you can see good returns. But it all is super dependent and super focused on you picking that product up at that $90 to $100 mark. So honestly, how do you do that? The only way you can do it is you just have to be patient. And I understand that patience in this hobby, especially recently, has been very hard to come by for a lot of people. And right now, the lowest pre-order prices I'm seeing for Evolving Skies, which there's a ton of pre-orders out there, and I'm probably throw a bunch. I've seen them from $135 to 127 to, and then most of the pre-orders I'm seeing is right around that $120 mark. And even that $120 mark, guys, I am not touching these booster boxes at $120 because when they do retrace to 100, I'm already going to be down at $20. I will be patient. I will wait for that 100. I will wait for that $90 price point. And if it's anything like Battle Styles, which I don't think it will because of how strong Evolving Skies is as a set, but if we ever do see it retrace like below that $90 mark, there's a very strong likelihood that I will start picking up as many booster boxes as I feel comfortable with below that $90 mark. And see, this is the very important words I just used. I will pick up as many booster boxes that I feel comfortable with, not as many booster boxes that I can afford to buy. Because when you're comfortable with something, you're not getting close to that maxing out spending limit where you're overly invested in any sort of product. And that is very important, and it's very key, especially for the long term of this hobby. And all I'm trying to do in this video is just remind you guys of this stuff and to please be very careful, especially if you are trying to invest in modern. If you are investing in modern, you have to get this product at that lowest possible price. And listen, if your plans are you want to buy a booster box right at release, and yeah, you're going to pay that $120 mark for a modern booster box, which, hey, it is what it is. But you're going to open it up and you're going to get some of those cards and you think you can somehow make money from those cards, or you just really, really want them for your personal collection and you just do not care about the investment aspect of it at all, that's a decision you're going to have to make. But if you have a ton of pre-orders out there at like that $120, $119 area, and yet people are still paying $20 more than that, going to like $135, or sorry, $15 more than that, guys, that is insane. Why wouldn't people just pick up the pre-orders at the lowest possible price that's available on the market? I just don't get it. Why are people continuing to pay exorbitant amounts of money for absolutely no reason? I just don't get it. And I don't like that this is continuing to happen. And like I said earlier, I thought that the market as a whole was going to grow to the point where people no longer made these foolish decisions, but I'm still seeing it happen. And I don't know. Is it just a patience thing, or is it still a point where people are just still undereducated of the market? Or do people honestly believe that Evolving Skies will be a strong set, for a long term? And I would say maybe that was true. Like what we've seen happen with Vivid Voltage. Vivid Voltage booster boxes have retraced, below that 130 mark. And yeah, they're holding pretty strong at that 120 for the reprint. But the thing is that we didn't really see so much with Vivid Voltage as we have seen, with the Battle Styles and the Chill and Rain, and we're going to see with Evolving Skies, is the way that Pokemon is releasing product in waves. And I believe that there still is a mindset for a lot of people that there will only be like one print run for stuff, similar to like the crazy prices we saw with Vivid Voltage. Yeah, we only really saw one print run of booster boxes, and then we never really saw them come back until a print run, a very long time afterwards. And when I say a long time afterwards, it was like 9 months after we got that reprint, end of June, beginning of July. Vivid Voltage released in November 2020. So it was like that 8 to 9 months. But we don't have to worry about that anymore, because now we know that booster boxes and product is coming in waves. And when it comes in waves, we now have a very good understanding of the most current print runs for this stuff and how it's going to cycle out. And there will be 3 solid waves, or call them reprints or whatever you want to, but it's going to hit the market and there will be a lot of it. I just hope everybody took a little bit out of this video and takes a step back and saying, listen, I need to not, be over my head on product instantly. Because if you do pick up these booster boxes, at that 135 mark, you will hurt yourself in the very, very near term. And if you are in this for any sort of investment, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. And that's all I want to do on this video, is just bring this to light. And I want to know your guys' thoughts. I want to know what's going on. I want to know why you think this is happening. Let me know down in the comments. Why would anybody in their right mind be willing to pay $20 over, one of the average price for pre-orders, which is $120? Why would anybody pay that much more? I just don't get it. I want to know why. I just can't get it. I can't wrap my brain around these prices and why people are continuing to pay them. And I feel bad for people, because at the end of the day, they're just being taken advantage of. And I really thought the hobby as a whole had progressed past this, but that's all it is. It's just taking advantage of people. And I don't know if we'll ever get people to stop taking advantage and to stop hurting, maybe I don't call it undereducated, but the, not as well-informed investors or collectors. And it's just sad to see. It's very predatory in a way. And that's the only way I could phrase it, is just predatory, that these prices exist and people pay them. I don't know. Maybe we live in a Twilight Zone world. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think. I know this video definitely turned into a tangent, but I don't know how to have conversations without turning into a tangent. But other than that, do me a favor. If you somehow are new to this channel, you've made it to the end of this video, I don't know how you did it, but you did it. Do me a favor, go down below, hit that subscribe button. Other than that, hit the like button. Let me know down in the comments what you think, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.